Okay, so today's interactive read aloud is Welcome to America. Now, I have this showing up here for you, but I also want you to remember those good reader practices of also closing your eyes, visualizing the story, and making connections to our essential questions, which is why is it hard for others to adapt to a new culture? And so remember, cultures are going to be where we come from, also part of what our daily lives look like, traditions, beliefs, all of those are involved in culture. So, welcome to America. Oscar grabbed his father's hand tightly as they stood on deck of their steamship, the Kaiser Wilhelm II. And there it was, barely visible on the horizon, their new home in Boston. Oscar wondered what America would be like. Would there be streets of gold, wild cowboys? Oscar laughed to himself. He knew Boston was not like that. Oscar's uncle and his family had gone to America 4 years ago, and they had told them that Massachusetts was a lot like Germany. Its climate was similar, and even the landscape would look familiar. Still, Oscar felt that it could never replace the forests and woodlands of his native homeland. No new friends would ever take the place of his friends back home. No strudel would ever taste as good in his new land as the ones made in his mother's oven back home. Despite his doubts, Oscar was anxious to get there. They had been on the ship for 2 weeks, and the trip had been hard. Oscar's family was not wealthy, and they, along with 900 other passengers, had been crammed into the ship for the passage to America. There had been little to do, so Oscar's mother had taught him English the entire trip. As for food, it had been awful, an insult to his taste buds. Oscar longed for the scrumptious sausages and potatoes that his mother made at home. But his mother had a completely different attitude. If this is what people in America were used to eating, her bakery in Boston would surely be a huge success. His mother's specialties were sweet breads and flaky pastries. Being able to make money is only one aspect of our new life, his mother said to Oscar. You will get a better education and go to college. Don't forget that your father and I have an advantage over most immigrants. Your father is a skilled carpenter, and I am a master baker. Soon we will have a new life filled with success and happiness. His mother was filled with confidence and enthusiasm, but to Oscar, America was the big unknown. Would he truly be happy there? Leaving the ship was a long, tough process, and the strange sound of English words swirled in and out of his ears. Even though he had studied the language for months, most of it still didn't make sense. Then, finally, his aunt and uncle found them in the crowd. Their German words of greeting settled over Oscar like a warm blanket of welcome. Oscar's two cousins stood shyly next to their parents. The boy, Paul, smiled at Oscar and handed him a hand-carved wooden toy. He said in English, I made it for you. Welcome to America. For the briefest moment, Oscar felt happy. Maybe his parents were right, and America would provide a good life for them. Even Oscar knew that there was only one way to find out. So, as we think about what this story talked about, I want you to be thinking about and writing on Padlet your connection to why do you think adapting to a new culture would be difficult? Why do you think that'd be hard on somebody? We can apply this to what we just read with Oscar. I also want you to think about maybe there are some good things, maybe some things that Oscar could learn or gain from adapting to a new culture, and this culture being America. So that's what I want you to be making connections to with our essential question.